What do you find the biggest mistakes or misconceptions that actors are doing that maybe,
they're doing too much? I teach, and I'm really a strong believer in this, that good commercial acting is good acting with less pauses and less time to prepare and more specifics in what you're doing. And most actors are acting. They're competing against other people. They're trying too hard to be interesting or different, as opposed to just simply motivating the copy and believing that they're enough. That's the biggest mistake. I mean, you've been at auditions, I'm sure, where they walk out and they go, would everybody here just drop it down a couple of notches, pull it back? I've heard that happen at a lot of auditions where people say that, or women are wearing too much makeup. They're just trying too hard. And when you have the opportunity to either run casting sessions, or sometimes if you have an opportunity, those who are watching, to go in and be able to assist at a casting session and watch people come in and out, I would say that the majority are doing way more than is believable or appropriate or makes them authentic for the audition. So I think that, let's say if we saw 60 people in a day, depending on the level, if there's a lot of dialogue, the people are more professional and more advanced. But I would say that 20-30% of them are shooting themselves in the foot by trying to be different or competitive.
They want to stand out from all the
others. They want
to
stand out. But you've got to believe, one of the things about acting, especially what we teach it, is it's that you're enough. And that if you're physically right for stuff, you just walk in and you give yourself an opportunity. But if you start trying to be other people or trying to be less than you, then they can never see who you are because you're busy trying. And that's the thing, that's the mistake that most actors do actually in the waiting room. I talk about this in my book. It's like they go and they look around and go, oh, I'm not pretty enough for this, so they put a lot of makeup on. Or, oh, the people here are more interesting than me. They're more personality, so they start trying so hard. One of the things about casting that I can tell you, which I think is kind of interesting for actors, hopefully it's interesting for you, is that when I get a casting breakdown, I try to bring in half the people that exactly what they're asking for. And then I bring in 25% to the left of that, and then 25% to the right of that. Because casting directors wouldn't be doing their job if they weren't creating choices and opportunities for the producers and people and the clients to see a different way of doing it. Because when you've been working on a job for a certain period of time, you have your blinders on. But when someone comes in and go, whoa, we didn't think of that. And then all of a sudden they start going in that direction. And a lot of actors just they're living like this, and they look around, they go, oh, I'm not this and I'm not that, as opposed to I am this.
There seems to be a trend in commercials right now for the lovable loser husband and the I told you so woman.
Right.
And so I could see why a lot of women would try to, well, they're themselves, but they're doing this, they're copying the trend right now. And it's really hard when in a commercial also they'll say, could you please improvise, and please only send agents, please only send your improv actresses. And so you come in and it's hard to want to do less, but because you want to stand out and make that funny joke.
But that's what, I know this sounds like a plug for my class, and it probably is, but that's why you go to an on-camera class and you start to see within your range of believable and what I call motivated behavior what is too much for you and what's too little, and where you get lost and where you get lost on either side. And that's just it, because we can't, if you're a really good actor, you can't watch yourself. You don't know what you're doing. You're busy doing it. Right? So, yeah, and the lovable husband and the pushy wife is what's in now, but that doesn't mean it's going to be in 6 months from now or a year, because things go in cycle. Like, during a recession, brunettes work more than blondes. It's like things change, because then all of a sudden there's a whole rash of these commercials, and then people get bored with them, so then they come up with something else. It's like California. It's like Los Angeles. If you don't like the weather, stick around. It'll change. And that's the same thing with commercials.
I said that in Connecticut, too.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with commercials. The cycle keeps changing based on lots of things.